The gym smelled of sweat and rubber, but to Mia, it was home. At 24, she'd spent more hours here than anywhere else, chasing strength to quiet the chaos in her head. Tonight, though, her heart pounded louder than the clank of weights. "Stay after class," Coach Elena had said, her voice low, almost a whisper, as the others filed out. "We need to talk." Then the door clicked shut, the lock snapping into place with a sound that made Mia's breath catch. Elena leaned against the door, her green eyes unreadable. At 32, she was the kind of woman who commanded a room without trying, tall, confident, with a presence that made Mia's palms sweat. They'd been circling each other for months. Stolen glances during workouts, brushes of hands when spotting lifts, moments that felt like secrets. But this was new. "Mia," Elena began, crossing her arms. "You've been distracted. Sloppy form, missed reps. What's going on?" Her tone was sharp, but her eyes softened, searching Mia's face. Mia shifted, her sneakers squeaking on the polished floor. The truth was a weight she hadn't dared lift. She was falling for Elena, hard, and every day in this gym made it worse. "I'm fine," she lied, her voice barely above a whisper. Elena stepped closer, the air between them electric. "Don't lie to me. I know you better than that." Mia's heart raced. She'd grown up in this small Ohio town, where whispers about girls like her still stung. Her parents, devout and unyielding, had made it clear love like this was a sin. Yet here was Elena, close enough to touch, her presence dismantling every wall Mia had built. I'm just tired," Mia stammered, her hazel eyes dropping to the floor. Elena tilted her head, unconvinced. "Tired doesn't make you flinch when I stand too close." She paused, her voice softening. "Talk to me, Mia. What's really going on?" The gym was silent, the world outside fading. Mia's chest tightened. She wanted to spill everything. Her fear, her longing. The way Elena's laugh made her feel alive. But the lock on the door felt like a metaphor for her life. Trapped, with no easy way out. "I can't," Mia whispered, her voice breaking. "You wouldn't understand." Elena's hand grazed Mia's arm, a touch so light it burned. "Try me." Mia looked up, meeting Elena's gaze. The room felt smaller, the air thicker. She didn't know if this was a beginning or an end, but she knew she couldn't run from it anymore. The small town of Willow Creek, Ohio, wasn't kind to people like Mia. She'd learned early to hide parts of herself, to blend into the background of church suppers and high school football games. Her parents ran the local bakery, their lives steeped in tradition, their expectations heavy as the bread they needed daily. Mia was their only child, their pride, but also their project. Meant to marry a nice boy, settle down, carry on the family name. But Mia had never wanted that. She'd known since she was 14, sneaking glances at her best friend Sarah during sleepovers, that her heart didn't work the way it was supposed to. She'd buried it, pouring her energy into sports, then the gym where she could control her body if not her feelings. Elena had changed everything. She'd moved to Willow Creek a year ago, taking over as head coach at Peak Pulse Gym. She was an outsider, with a New York edge and a confidence that made locals whisper. Divorced, no kids, and unapologetically herself, Elena was everything Mia wasn't. Free. Their first meeting was etched in Mia's memory. She'd been struggling with a deadlift, her form off, when Elena's voice cut through the noise. "Hips back, chest up. You're stronger than you think." Mia had looked up, startled, and found Elena's green eyes locked on hers, steady and sure. It was the first time Mia felt seen. Now, standing in the locked gym, Mia felt that same intensity, but it was laced with something deeper. Elena wasn't just her coach anymore. She was a question Mia couldn't answer, a risk she wasn't sure she could take. "Why'd you lock the door?" Mia asked, her voice steadier now, though her heart wasn't. Elena hesitated, then smiled faintly. "So we wouldn't be interrupted. This matters." Mia's stomach flipped. "What does?" "You. This." Elena gestured between them, her voice dropping. "Whatever's been building here. I'm not blind, Mia. I see the way you look at me." The words hit like a punch. Mia froze, torn between running and staying. She'd spent years hiding, but Elena's gaze stripped her bare. "I don't know what you're talking about," Mia said, but her voice trembled, betraying her. Elena stepped closer, her breath warm against Mia's cheek. "Then let me make it clear." The space between them vanished. Elena's hand cupped Mia's face, gentle but firm, and for a moment, the world stopped. Mia's breath hitched, her mind screaming to pull away, but her body leaned in, drawn to Elena like gravity. Their lips were inches apart when a loud knock shattered the silence. "Coach? You in there?" A voice called from outside. Elena pulled back, her eyes wide, but she didn't let go of Mia's face. "We're not done," she whispered, her voice fierce with promise. Mia's heart pounded as Elena moved to unlock the door. The moment was gone, but its weight lingered, heavy as the barbell Mia could never quite lift. As the door swung open, revealing a confused gym member, Mia knew one thing. Whatever this was, it was only the beginning. The gym door swung shut behind the intruder, a regular named Jake who mumbled something about a lost water bottle. Elena's face was a mask of calm, but her eyes flicked to Mia, a silent question hanging between them. Mia's pulse hadn't slowed, her skin still tingling where Elena's hand had been. "Sorry about that," Elena said, her voice steady but softer now. She leaned against the weight rack, giving Mia space but not breaking eye contact. "Where were we?" Mia's throat was dry. She wanted to say something brave, something that matched Elena's courage, but all she could manage was, "You were making things clear." Elena's lips curved into a half-smile, but there was no mockery in it. "Yeah, I was." She took a step closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "Mia, I'm not here to push you, but I'm not going to pretend I don't feel this." Mia's chest ached. She'd spent so long running from feelings like this, burying them under sweat and routine. But Elena was different. She wasn't just a crush. She was a mirror, reflecting parts of Mia she tried to forget. "I don't know how to do this," Mia admitted, her voice barely audible. "I've never," she trailed off, the weight of her unspoken truth too heavy. Elena's expression softened. "Never what? Felt this way? Or acted on it?" "Both," Mia said, her eyes dropping to the floor. "I grew up here, Elena. You know what it's like. People talk. My parents," she shook her head, the words catching in her throat. Elena nodded, her face unreadable. "Willow Creek isn't exactly a rainbow flag kind of place. I get it. But you're not your parents, Mia. You're you." Mia laughed, a bitter sound. "Yeah, and me is a mess. I don't even know what I'm allowed to want." Elena's hand found Mia's again, this time holding it firmly. "You're allowed to want whatever sets your heart on fire. No one gets to decide that but you." The words hit Mia like a wave, warm and overwhelming. She wanted to believe them, but years of guilt and fear were hard to shake. She pulled her hand away, stepping back. "I need time," she said, her voice shaking. "This is a lot." Elena didn't push. She just nodded, her eyes steady. "Take all the time you need. I'm not going anywhere." The next few days were torture. Mia went to the gym as usual, but every moment felt charged. Elena was professional, calling out reps and correcting form, but her glances lingered, and Mia felt them like sparks. She threw herself into her workouts, pushing her body to the limit, as if she could outrun her feelings. At home, things were no easier. Her parents, oblivious to her inner turmoil, were planning a church fundraiser, roping Mia into helping. "You've been so distant lately," her mom said over dinner, her tone laced with worry. "Is everything okay?" Mia forced a smile. "Just busy at the gym." Her dad grunted, cutting his steak. "That coach of yours works you too hard. You should find a nice guy to spend time with instead." Mia's stomach twisted. She excused herself early, retreating to her room, where she stared at her phone, Elena's last text glowing on the screen. "You're stronger than you think." She didn't reply. She couldn't. Not yet. On Friday, the gym was packed for the evening class. Mia kept her head down, focusing on her squats, but Elena's voice cut through the noise. Mia, stay after again. The words sent a jolt through her. She nodded, her heart racing. When the others left, Elena locked the door again, the sound echoing in the empty gym. I meant what I said. Elena started, her voice calm but firm. I'm not going anywhere, but I need to know where you stand. Mia's mouth went dry. I'm scared, she admitted. Not just of you, of everything. What it means, what people will say. Elena stepped closer, her eyes fierce. Let them talk. They don't get to live your life. Mia's breath hitched. And if I lose everything? My family? My home? Elena's face softened. You won't lose yourself. And you won't be alone. The words hung between them, heavy with promise. Mia wanted to close the gap, to let herself fall. But the fear was still there, a shadow she couldn't shake. Before she could speak, Elena's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, her face tightening. It's my ex, she said, her voice clipped. She's in town, wants to talk. Mia's heart sank. Your ex? Elena nodded, her jaw tight. Yeah, it's complicated. But this isn't about her. It's about us. Mia wanted to believe her, but doubt crept in. She'd heard stories about Elena's past. A messy divorce, a life left behind in New York. What if this was just a moment for Elena, a fleeting thing? I need to go, Mia said, grabbing her bag. I can't do this right now. Elena reached for her, but Mia was already at the door. Mia, wait. But Mia didn't stop. She unlocked the door and stepped into the cool night air, her heart pounding, her mind a storm of fear and longing. Mia walked home under the glow of streetlights, her breath visible in the chilly Ohio air. The town was quiet, but her mind was loud, replaying Elena's words, her touch, the way her eyes seemed to see straight through her. She wanted to run back to the gym, to say yes to whatever this was, but fear anchored her steps. At home, she slipped past her parents, who were watching TV in the living room. You're late, her mom called. But Mia mumbled an excuse and headed upstairs. In her room, she collapsed onto her bed, staring at the ceiling. Elena's ex. The words gnawed at her. Who was this woman? And why did she still have a hold on Elena? Mia opened her phone, scrolling through Elena's social media. Most of it was gym-related, workout tips, client progress photos. But there were hints of a past life. A photo of Elena in New York, laughing with a woman whose face was half hidden. The caption read, Simpler Times. Mia's chest tightened. Was that her? She tossed her phone aside, frustration bubbling. She wasn't ready for this, whatever this was. But the thought of Elena with someone else made her feel like she was drowning. The next morning, Mia avoided the gym. She told herself she needed a break. But really, she was hiding. She spent the day helping her parents at the bakery, kneading dough and icing cupcakes, the familiar routine a temporary shield. You seem off, her mom said, wiping flour from her hands. Is it that coach again? Mia froze, her heart skipping. What do you mean? Her mom frowned. You're always at that gym. I worry you're pushing yourself too hard. Or something else. The vagueness felt like a trap. Mia forced a laugh. Just trying to stay in shape, Mom. But her mom's eyes lingered, searching, and Mia felt the weight of unspoken expectations. She excused herself to the back, where she leaned against the counter, her hands shaking. She couldn't keep living like this, split between who she was and who she was supposed to be. That evening, unable to stay away, Mia went to the gym. Elena was there, running a late class, her voice sharp as she coached a group through burpees. Mia slipped in quietly, taking a spot in the back. Elena's eyes found her, and for a moment, the world narrowed to just them. After class, Elena approached, her expression guarded. You didn't text back. Mia shrugged, her throat tight. I needed space. Elena nodded, but her eyes were hurt. Fair. But I meant what I said, Mia. I'm here when you're ready. Mia wanted to speak, to ask about the ex, to confess everything, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, she nodded and grabbed her bag, leaving before she could change her mind. The next few days were a blur of avoidance. Mia went to the gym but kept her distance, focusing on her workouts and avoiding Elena's gaze. But Elena didn't push, didn't lock the door again, and that silence felt worse than anything. On Thursday, Mia's best friend, Sarah, came by the bakery. They'd been close since high school, though Mia had never told her the truth about herself. Sarah was engaged now, planning a wedding, her life neatly on track. "You look like you're carrying the world," Sarah said, sipping coffee at the counter. "Spill." Mia hesitated, then blurted, "I think I'm in love." Sarah's eyes widened. "With who?" "Some gym guy." Mia's heart pounded. "Not exactly." Sarah frowned, confused, but before she could press, the bell above the door chimed. Elena walked in, her tracksuit swapped for jeans and a leather jacket, her presence filling the small bakery. "Hey," Elena said, her eyes on Mia. "Can we talk?" Sarah's gaze darted between them, curiosity sparking. Mia's face burned. "Not here," she said quickly, leading Elena to the back. In the storage room, surrounded by sacks of flour, Elena didn't waste time. "I met with my ex last night. It's over, Mia. It's been over. I needed you to know that." Mia's relief was immediate, but doubt lingered. "Why does it matter what I know?" Elena stepped closer, her voice low. "Because I'm falling for you, and I'm done pretending I'm not." The words stole Mia's breath. She wanted to say it back, to let herself fall, but the bakery walls felt like they were closing in, her parents' voices echoing in her head. "I can't," she whispered, tears stinging her eyes. "Not yet." Elena's face fell, but she nodded. "I'll wait." As Elena left, Mia sank to the floor, her heart torn between love and fear, knowing she couldn't hide forever. Mia spent the next week in a fog, her heart and mind at war. Elena's confession echoed in her head, a lifeline she was too scared to grab. She threw herself into work at the bakery, avoiding the gym, but every quiet moment brought Elena's face into focus. Those green eyes, that steady voice promising to wait. Her parents noticed her silence. "You're not yourself," her dad said one evening, his tone gruff but concerned. "Is it a guy?" Mia's stomach churned. "No," she said too quickly. Her dad raised an eyebrow but didn't push. Her mom, though, watched her with a quiet intensity that made Mia's skin crawl. She needed to talk to someone. Not Sarah. She wasn't ready for that. Instead, she texted Jamie, a friend from college who'd come out years ago and moved to Chicago. They hadn't spoken in months, but Jamie's voice was warm when she answered Mia's call. "I think I'm in love," Mia said, her voice barely above a whisper. "With a woman." Jamie's laugh was kind. "Welcome to the club. Tell me about her." Mia spilled everything. Elena's confidence, their almost kiss, the fear that choked her every time she thought about telling her parents. Jamie listened, then said, "You don't have to have it all figured out, Mia, but you can't keep running from who you are." The words stuck with her, heavy but true. That night, Mia stared at her reflection in the mirror, her short hair framing a face she barely recognized. She wasn't the girl her parents wanted, but maybe she could be the woman she needed to be. On Monday, Mia returned to the gym. Elena was there, coaching a group, her voice steady but her eyes catching Mia's with a flicker of hope. After class, Mia lingered, her heart pounding. "Can we talk?" Mia asked, her voice barely audible. Elena nodded, leading her to the office, a small room cluttered with protein shake cans and workout plans. She didn't lock the door this time, but the air felt just as charged. "I'm sorry," Mia started, her hands twisting together. "I've been a coward." Elena shook her head. "You're not a coward. You're just figuring it out." Mia took a deep breath. "I'm scared of losing everything, but I'm more scared of losing you." Elena's eyes softened, but she didn't move closer. "What do you want, Mia?" "Really?" Mia's throat tightened. "You. I want you, but I don't know how to do this." Elena stepped forward, her hand brushing Mia's arm. "You don't have to do it alone." This time, Mia didn't pull away. She leaned into Elena's touch, her heart racing but steady, like a weight she was finally strong enough to lift. Their lips met, soft at first, then deeper, A kiss that felt like freedom and fear all at once. When they pulled apart, Mia's eyes were wet. "What now?" she whispered. Elena smiled, her thumb brushing Mia's cheek. "Now we figure it out. Together." The next few weeks were a whirlwind. Mia and Elena kept things quiet, meeting after hours at the gym or stealing moments at Elena's apartment on the edge of town. Every touch, every laugh, felt like a rebellion against the life Mia had been taught to want. But Willow Creek was small, and secrets didn't stay secret long. One evening, as Mia left Elena's place, she spotted a familiar car parked across the street. Sarah. Her best friend's face was unreadable, but her presence sent a chill down Mia's spine. The next day, Sarah cornered her at the bakery. "Were you with Elena last night?" Mia's heart stopped. "What?" "I saw you," Sarah said, her voice low. "Mia, what's going on? Are you?" She didn't finish, but the question hung heavy. Mia's hands shook. "I don't know what you saw," she lied, her voice cracking. Sarah's eyes narrowed. "Don't lie to me. I'm your friend." Mia wanted to tell her, to let the truth spill out, but fear choked her. "It's nothing," she said, turning away. Sarah grabbed her arm. "If it's nothing, why do you look so scared?" Mia pulled free, her heart pounding. She didn't answer, but Sarah's words followed her all day, a reminder that the truth was closing in. That night, Mia went to Elena's, her nerves frayed. "Sarah knows," she said, pacing the small living room. "She saw us." Elena's face was calm, but her eyes were serious. "What do you want to do?" Mia shook her head. "I don't know. I'm not ready for this to be real." Elena took her hands, grounding her. "It's already real, Mia. The question is whether you're ready to fight for it." Mia's eyes burned with tears. She wanted to be brave, to be the woman Elena saw in her. But the weight of her town, her family, her past was heavier than any barbell. "I need time," she said, her voice breaking. Elena nodded, but her eyes were sad. "I'll give you time, but I can't wait forever." As Mia left, the night air felt colder, the stars dimmer. She knew she was at a crossroads, and whatever she chose, there was no going back. Mia's world felt like it was splitting apart. She went through the motions. Work at the bakery, workouts at the gym, but every moment was shadowed by the truth she couldn't outrun. Sarah's questions, Elena's patience, her parents' expectations, they were all closing in, and Mia was running out of places to hide. She avoided Sarah, dodging her calls and texts, but the guilt gnawed at her. Sarah had been her anchor through high school, the one who'd laughed with her through heartbreak and celebrated her small victories. Losing her would be like losing a piece of herself. At the gym, Elena kept her distance, giving Mia the space she'd asked for. But every glance, every brush of their hands, felt like a reminder of what Mia stood to lose if she kept running. She wanted to be brave, to claim this love, but the thought of her parents' faces, disappointment, maybe disgust, kept her frozen. One evening, Mia's mom cornered her in the bakery's kitchen. "You've been acting strange for weeks," she said, her voice sharp. "Is it drugs? A boy? What's going on, Mia?" Mia's heart raced. "It's nothing, Mom. I'm just stressed." Her mom's eyes narrowed. "Don't lie to me. I raised you better than that." The words stung, and Mia fled to her room, her chest tight. She wanted to call Elena, to hear her voice, but instead, she dialed Jamie again. "I'm drowning," Mia said, her voice breaking. "I can't keep lying, but I can't tell the truth either." Jamie's voice was steady. "You don't have to tell everyone at once. Start with one person you trust. See how it feels." Mia thought of Sarah. She wasn't ready for her parents, but Sarah maybe. The next day, Mia invited Sarah to coffee at a diner on the edge of town. The place was quiet, the kind of spot where locals lingered over greasy eggs and gossip. Mia's hands shook as she stirred her coffee, avoiding Sarah's eyes. "I owe you an explanation," Mia started, her voice low. "About Elena." Sarah leaned forward, her face a mix of worry and curiosity. "I'm listening." Mia took a deep breath. "I'm in love with her. I'm gay, Sarah." The words hung in the air, heavy and raw. Sarah blinked, her expression unreadable, and for a moment, Mia thought she'd lost her. Then Sarah reached across the table, squeezing Mia's hand. "Why didn't you tell me sooner? I'm your best friend, Mia. I love you no matter what." Tears spilled down Mia's cheeks, relief flooding her. "I was scared you'd hate me." Sarah shook her head. "Never. But you've got to stop hiding. It's killing you." Mia nodded, wiping her eyes. For the first time, she felt a flicker of hope. Sarah's acceptance was a lifeline, a small step toward the life she wanted. That night, Mia went to Elena's apartment. The door opened, and Elena's face lit up, though her eyes were cautious. "You okay?" she asked, stepping aside to let Mia in. Mia didn't waste time. "I told Sarah. About us. About me." Elena's eyes widened. "And she's okay with it," Mia said, her voice trembling. "She's still my friend." Elena smiled, pulling Mia into a hug. "I'm proud of you." Mia buried her face in Elena's shoulder, the warmth of her embrace grounding her. "I'm still scared," she admitted. "My parents, they're not like Sarah." Elena pulled back, her hands framing Mia's face. "You don't have to face them alone. I'm here." Mia's heart swelled. She kissed Elena, slow and deep, letting herself feel the love she'd been fighting. For the first time, she believed she could be brave. But the next day, reality crashed in. Mia's mom was waiting for her at the bakery, her face pale. "Mrs. Carter saw you leaving Elena's place last night," she said, her voice tight. She said you two looked close." Mia's blood ran cold. Mrs. Carter was the town gossip, her tongue sharper than any knife. "It's not what you think," Mia said, her voice shaking. Her mom's eyes were hard. "Then tell me what it is, Mia. Because I'm starting to think I don't know you at all." Mia's throat closed. She wanted to tell the truth, to be the woman Elena believed in, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, she turned and ran, the bakery door slamming behind her. She ended up at the gym, the one place that felt like hers. Elena was there, cleaning equipment, her face lighting up when she saw Mia. But one look at Mia's expression, and her smile faded. "What happened?" Elena asked, dropping the rag. "My mom knows," Mia said, her voice breaking. "Or she suspects. I couldn't tell her." Elena pulled her into a hug, her arms strong and steady. "You'll tell her when you're ready. And I'll be here no matter what." Mia clung to her, tears falling. She didn't know how to face her mom, her town, her life. But with Elena's arms around her, she felt a spark of courage, a belief that maybe, just maybe, she could do this. Mia woke the next morning with a knot in her stomach. Her mom's words echoed in her head, sharp and accusing. She hadn't gone back to the bakery, hadn't answered her mom's texts. Instead, she'd stayed at Elena's, falling asleep on her couch, wrapped in a blanket that smelled faintly of her perfume. Elena was already up, brewing coffee in the small kitchen. "You okay?" she asked, sliding a mug across the counter. Mia shook her head. "I don't know how to face her. My mom, she's not going to understand." Elena sat beside her, her hand resting lightly on Mia's knee. "You don't have to do it today, but you can't keep running forever." Mia nodded, sipping the coffee, its warmth a small comfort. She knew Elena was right, but the thought of her mom's disappointment, or worse, rejection, felt like a weight she couldn't lift. That afternoon, Mia forced herself to go home. Her parents were at the bakery, giving her a moment to breathe, but the house felt different, like it was holding its breath too. She wandered into her room, her eyes falling on an old photo. Her and her parents at a church picnic, all smiles. She'd been 12, already hiding parts of herself. Her phone buzzed. "Sarah. Meet me at the park. We need to talk." Mia's stomach twisted, but she went. The park was quiet, the swings empty, the air crisp with fall. Sarah was waiting on a bench, her face serious. "I talked to your mom," Sarah said, her voice low. "She's worried, and she asked me if you're seeing someone. A woman." Mia's heart stopped. "What did you say?" "I didn't tell her anything," Sarah said quickly. "But Mia, she's not stupid. She's going to figure it out." Mia sank onto the bench, her hands shaking. I'm not ready. I can't lose them. Sarah's eyes softened. You might not lose them. They love you. But you have to give them a chance to know the real you. Mia wanted to believe her, but fear was a heavy chain. She thought of Elena, of the way her touch felt like freedom, and wondered if she was strong enough to fight for it. That evening, Mia went to the gym, needing the familiar burn of a workout to quiet her mind. Elena was there, coaching a small group, her voice steady and sure. When the others left, she approached Mia, her eyes searching. You've been quiet all day, Elena said, wiping down a bench. Talk to me. Mia took a deep breath. My mom knows something's up. Sarah thinks I should tell her the truth. Elena nodded, her face calm but serious. What do you think? I think I'm terrified, Mia admitted, her voice breaking. But I don't want to lose you. Elena's hand found hers, squeezing gently. You won't, but you need to decide what you're ready for. Mia's eyes burned. She wanted to be brave, to claim this love, but the thought of her parents' faces held her back. What if they hate me? Elena's voice was soft but firm. They might not, and if they do, you'll survive it. You're stronger than you know. Mia nodded, tears spilling. She wanted to believe her, but the fear was still there, a shadow she couldn't outrun. The next day, Mia's mom was waiting for her at the bakery, her face a mask of worry and anger. We need to talk, she said, her voice tight. Now. Mia's heart pounded, but she followed her mom to the back, where the air smelled of sugar and dough. Her dad was there too, his arms crossed, his face unreadable. Mrs. Carter says you're spending a lot of time with that coach. Her mom started, her voice shaking. She says it's unnatural. Mia's stomach dropped. It's not what you think, she said, her voice barely audible. Her dad's eyes narrowed. Then what is it, Mia? Because we're hearing things we don't want to believe. Mia's throat closed. She wanted to tell them, to be brave, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, she shook her head, tears falling. I can't, she whispered and ran. She ended up at Elena's, her face streaked with tears. Elena didn't ask questions, just pulled her into a hug, her arms strong and steady. I couldn't do it, Mia sobbed. I couldn't tell them. Elena held her tighter. You will when you're ready, and I'll be here. Mia clung to her, the world outside fading. She didn't know how to face her parents, her town, her life. But with Elena's arms around her, she felt a spark of hope, a belief that maybe she could find the strength to be herself. Mia spent the next few days avoiding her parents, staying at Elena's or crashing at Sarah's. The bakery felt like a minefield, her parents' questions lingering in every corner. She knew she couldn't hide forever, but every time she thought about telling them the truth, her chest tightened, and the words died in her throat. Elena was her anchor, her quiet strength a contrast to Mia's chaos. They spent evenings talking, laughing, stealing kisses that felt like defiance. But even Elena's warmth couldn't erase the fear that gnawed at Mia, the fear of losing her family, her home, her place in this small town. One night, as they lay on Elena's couch, Mia's head on her chest, Elena said, You can't keep living half a life, Mia. It's tearing you apart. Mia's eyes stung. I know, but I don't know how to do this. Elena's hand traced circles on her back. You don't have to do it alone. I'm here. Sarah's here. You're not as alone as you think. Mia nodded, but the weight of her parents' expectations still pressed down. She wanted to be brave, to be the woman Elena saw in her, but the path felt too steep. On Sunday, Mia couldn't avoid her parents any longer. The church fundraiser was that afternoon, and her mom had texted, We expect you there. Mia went, her heart heavy, knowing this was more than a fundraiser. It was a test. The church hall was packed, the air thick with chatter and the smell of potluck dishes. Mia helped set up tables, avoiding her parents' eyes. Sarah was there too, her presence a small comfort. As Mia carried a tray of cookies, her mom pulled her aside. We need to talk about what's going on with you, she said, her voice low but firm. You're not yourself, and people are noticing. Mia's heart raced. Can we not do this here? Her mom's eyes narrowed. Then when, Mia? You're shutting us out. Before Mia could respond, Mrs. Carter approached, her smile sharp. Mia, I hear you're spending a lot of time at that gym. With that coach. Her tone dripped with insinuation, and Mia's stomach churned. It's just training, Mia said, her voice tight. Mrs. Carter raised an eyebrow. Training doesn't happen behind locked doors. Mia's face burned. She glanced at her mom, whose expression had hardened. Before she could speak, Sarah stepped in, her voice bright but firm. Mrs. Carter, maybe you should focus on the fundraiser instead of gossip. Mrs. Carter huffed, but walked away. Mia's mom turned to her, her eyes searching. Is there something you need to tell us, Mia? Mia's throat closed. She wanted to tell the truth, to be done with the lies, but the crowded hall, the eyes, the judgment. It was too much. No, she whispered, and fled to the bathroom, her heart pounding. Sarah followed, locking the door behind them. You can't keep doing this, she said, her voice gentle but firm. You're killing yourself. Mia's tears fell. I don't know how to tell them. They'll hate me. Sarah hugged her. They might not, but you have to give them a chance. Mia nodded, wiping her eyes. She knew Sarah was right, but the fear was still there, a weight she couldn't lift alone. That night, Mia went to Elena's, her nerves frayed. I froze again, she said, pacing the small living room. My mom asked, and I couldn't do it. Elena pulled her onto the couch, her hands steadying Mia's shaking ones. You're trying. That's enough for now. Mia shook her head. It's not. I'm letting you down. I'm letting myself down. Elena's eyes were fierce. You're not letting anyone down. You're fighting a war inside yourself and you're still here. That's strength. Mia's tears fell, and Elena pulled her close, her arms a safe harbor. I love you, Mia whispered, the words slipping out before she could stop them. Elena froze, then smiled, her eyes shining. I love you too. The words were a lifeline, a promise. Mia kissed her, letting herself feel the love she'd been fighting. But even as she melted into Elena's embrace, she knew the hardest battle was still ahead. The next day, Mia's dad called her to the bakery. We're worried, he said, his voice gruff. You're not acting right. Is it that coach? Mia's heart stopped. What? Her dad's eyes were hard. People are talking, Mia. They say you're involved with her. Is it true? Mia's world tilted. She wanted to deny it, to keep hiding, but Elena's words echoed in her head. You're stronger than you know. She took a deep breath, her hands shaking. Yes, she said, her voice barely audible. I love her. The silence that followed was deafening. Her dad's face went pale, his jaw tight. You don't mean that, he said, his voice low. You can't. Mia's tears fell, but she didn't back down. I do, and I'm not sorry. Her dad turned away, his shoulders rigid. Mia's heart broke, but for the first time, she felt free. She'd said the truth, and whatever came next, she'd face it. The bakery felt colder after Mia's confession, the air thick with her dad's silence. He hadn't looked at her, hadn't spoken, just walked to the back, leaving Mia standing alone, her heart pounding. She wanted to run after him, to explain, but her feet wouldn't move. Her mom appeared, her face pale. What did you say to your father? She asked, her voice shaking. Mia's throat tightened. The truth, she said, her voice steady despite the tears. I'm in love with Elena. Her mom's eyes widened, a mix of shock and pain. Mia, no. This isn't you. This is a phase. A mistake. Mia's heart twisted. It's not a mistake. It's who I am. Her mom shook her head, tears falling. We raised you better than this. What will people say? What will the church say? Mia's voice broke. I don't care what they say. Care about you. About Dad. But I can't keep lying. Her mom turned away, her shoulders shaking. I need time, she said, her voice barely audible. We both do. Mia nodded, tears streaming down her face. She left the bakery, the bell above the door chiming like a final note. She didn't know if she'd lost her family forever, but she'd taken the first step toward living her truth. Mia went straight to Elena's, her heart a storm of pain and relief. Elena opened the door, her face softening at the sight of Mia's tears. "What happened?" she asked, pulling her inside. "I told them," Mia said, her voice breaking. "They didn't take it well." Elena pulled her into a hug, her arms strong and warm. "I'm so proud of you," she whispered. "You're so brave." Mia clung to her, sobbing. "I don't feel brave. I feel like I've lost everything." Elena's hands framed her face, her eyes fierce. "You haven't lost me, and you haven't lost yourself. You're just starting to find her." Mia nodded, letting Elena's words anchor her. They spent the night talking, planning, dreaming of a life where they didn't have to hide. For the first time, Mia let herself imagine it. A future with Elena, free from fear. The next few days were a blur. Mia stayed with Elena, avoiding the bakery and her parents' calls. Sarah checked in, bringing coffee and hugs, her support a lifeline. "They'll come around," she said, her voice sure. "They love you." Mia wanted to believe her, but the silence from her parents was deafening. She threw herself into the gym, pushing her body to the limit, as if she could outrun the pain. Elena was there, coaching her through lifts, her presence a quiet strength. But Willow Creek was small, and gossip spread fast. At the gym, Mia noticed whispers, sidelong glances from regulars. One day, Mrs. Carter's daughter, Emily, approached her, her face cold. "Is it true? You and Coach Elena?" Mia's heart raced, but she didn't flinch. "Yes," she said, her voice steady. Emily's lip curled. "That's disgusting. You should be ashamed." Mia's hands clenched, but before she could respond, Elena stepped in, her voice sharp. "The only thing shameful here is your judgment. Get out of my gym." Emily stormed off, but the encounter left Mia shaken. "It's going to be like this, isn't it?" she said, her voice low. "The whole town." Elena took her hand, her eyes fierce. "Let them talk. We're stronger than their words." Mia nodded, but the weight of the town's judgment pressed down. She knew she'd have to face it, just as she'd faced her parents. A week later, Mia's mom texted, "Come home. We need to talk." Mia's stomach churned, but she went. The house was quiet, her parents waiting in the living room, their faces tired. Her dad spoke first, his voice gruff. "We've been talking, praying. We don't understand this, Mia, but you're our daughter." Mia's tears fell. "I'm still me," she said, her voice shaking. "I just love differently." Her mom reached for her hand, her grip tight. "We're trying, Mia. It's hard, but we don't want to lose you." Mia nodded, relief flooding her. It wasn't acceptance, not yet, but it was a start. She hugged her parents, tears streaming, knowing the road ahead would be long but feeling lighter than she had in years. That night, she told Elena, her heart full. "They're trying," she said, her voice soft. "It's not perfect, but it's something." Elena smiled, pulling her close. "It's everything. You're everything." Mia kissed her, letting herself feel the love she'd fought for. She knew the town would talk, the church would judge, but for the first time, she felt ready to face it all with Elena by her side. Mia woke to the sound of Elena's steady breathing, the morning light filtering through the curtains of her apartment. For the first time in weeks, she felt a flicker of peace. Her parents' words, "We don't want to lose you," echoed in her head, a fragile bridge to a future she couldn't yet see. But Willow Creek wasn't done with her. At the gym, the whispers grew louder, the stares bolder. Mia felt them like weights on her shoulders, but Elena's presence kept her grounded. They trained together, their rhythm a quiet defiance against the town's judgment. One afternoon, Sarah stopped by the gym, her face tense. "There's a meeting at the church tonight," she said, her voice low. "Mrs. Carter's stirring things up. She's saying Elena's a bad influence, that the gym's not family-friendly anymore." Mia's stomach dropped. "They can't do anything to her, can they?" Sarah shrugged. "It's a small town. People listen to her." Mia glanced at Elena, who was coaching a client, her face focused but tired. The thought of losing the gym, their safe haven, made Mia's chest ache. That evening, Mia went to the church meeting, her heart pounding. The hall was packed, Mrs. Carter at the front, her voice sharp. "We can't have people like that coaching our kids," she said, her eyes flicking to Mia. "It's not right." Mia's hands clenched. She wanted to shrink, to hide, but Elena's voice echoed in her head. "You're stronger than you know." She stood, her voice shaking but clear. "Elena's the best coach this town's ever had. She's helped us all, me included. If you're judging her for who she loves, that's your shame, not hers." The room went silent, eyes on Mia. Mrs. Carter's face reddened, but before she could speak, Sarah stood. "Mia's right. Elena's done nothing but good for this town. You're the ones tearing it apart." A few others nodded, their support a small but growing wave. Mrs. Carter huffed, but the meeting shifted, the focus turning to other issues. Mia left, her heart racing, but for the first time, she felt proud. She told Elena that night, her voice soft but sure, "I stood up for you, for us." Elena's eyes shone. "You're incredible," she said, pulling Mia into a kiss that felt like victory. But the victory was short-lived. The next day, Elena got a call from the gym's owner. "Some parents are pulling their kids," he said, his voice heavy. "I support you, Elena, but I can't lose business." Elena's face was calm, but her hands shook. "I'll figure it out," she told him. But when she hung up, her eyes were wet. Mia took her hand, her heart breaking. "This is my fault. If I hadn't—" "No." Elena cut her off, her voice firm. "This is their fault. Not yours. Not ours." Mia nodded, but guilt gnawed at her. She knew Elena loved the gym, loved coaching. The thought of her losing it because of their love was unbearable. Over the next week, Mia and Elena fought to save the gym. They reached out to clients, posted on social media, shared stories of Elena's impact. Sarah helped, rallying her friends, and slowly support grew. New clients signed up, drawn by Elena's skill and Mia's courage. But the town was still divided. Mia's parents stayed quiet, their support fragile. One evening, her dad came to the gym, his face unreadable. "I don't understand this," he said, his voice gruff. "But I see how happy you are. That matters." Mia's tears fell, and she hugged him, feeling a piece of her world fall back into place. Her mom was slower to come around, but she started asking questions, listening, trying to understand. One night, as Mia and Elena closed the gym, Elena pulled her close. "We're going to be okay," she said, her voice steady. "No matter what." Mia nodded, her heart full. She knew the road ahead would be hard, but with Elena by her side, she felt ready to face it. The gym was quiet, the last clients gone, the air heavy with the scent of sweat and hope. Mia and Elena stood by the weight rack, their hands intertwined, their eyes locked. It had been a month since the church meeting, and the gym was still standing, stronger even with new clients and a community that was slowly shifting. Mia's parents were trying, their love for her outweighing their discomfort. Her mom had started coming to the gym, taking Elena's yoga class, her presence a quiet olive branch. Her dad still struggled, but he'd started asking about Elena, his questions gruff but genuine. The town wasn't perfect. Mrs. Carter and her allies still whispered, but their voices were drowned out by those who'd chosen to stand with Mia and Elena. Sarah had been a rock, organizing a fundraiser to keep the gym afloat, her loyalty a reminder of what family could mean. One evening, as Mia and Elena locked up, Mia stopped, her heart full. "I was so scared," she said, her voice soft, "but I'd do it all again. For you." Elena smiled, her eyes shining. "For us." They kissed under the gym's neon sign, the world around them fading. Mia knew there would be more battles, more whispers, more doubts, but she was no longer afraid. She'd found her strength, her love, her truth. Months later, Mia and Elena moved in together, a small apartment above the gym, their lives intertwined like the weights they lifted. The gym thrived, a haven for those who felt out of place in Willow Creek's rigid lines. Mia started coaching alongside Elena, her confidence growing with every class. Her parents came to dinner one night, awkward but present, their love a work in progress. Mia's mom hugged Elena before leaving, a small gesture that felt like a victory. As summer turned to fall, Mia and Elena stood in the gym, watching a new class sweat and laugh. Mia's hand found Elena's, their fingers lacing together. "We did it," Mia whispered, her voice full of wonder. Elena squeezed her hand. "We're just getting started." Mia smiled, her heart light. She'd faced her fears, her town, her past, and come out stronger. Love wasn't easy, but it was worth it. Every lift, every tear, every locked door. In the gym, under the golden light, Mia knew she was home.